It's going to be the last Montana's Brier for Brad Gushue, and wow, just even saying that, how does that make you feel? This is it.
Uh, Nervous, excited, stressed. There's a lot of emotions that are kind of going through me over the last number of months, but I'm looking forward to it. I think getting the chance to play here at home in St. John's is obviously exciting, but I'm going to miss it, and I'm also excited that it's finishing up. So I can't nail down one emotion that I'm feeling. It's just a number of different emotions that are pulling at me.
What do you remember about your first Brier? 2003. I think that was the second year of the boycott from the 18 teams or whatever it was. But what do you remember about walking into the arena, about being there the first time, and how it made you feel?
Well, that was one thing I would bring up actually the first time when the bagpipes went out for just the opening ceremonies and the magnitude of that event back in 2003. And, there was probably 7 or 8 thousand people there watching the opening ceremonies, which was pretty amazing. I do remember in the first game we played Doug Harcourt actually from Saskatchewan and made a really good shot on my last one. He had a run back to win and he missed, and we were just so pumped to win our first game and win a game at the Brier. So it's amazing how our expectations and our goals changed over the course of our career.
And what was I know you've talked about it, you gave a statement, but I mean, what was I guess what's the reason why you've had enough now? Do you sort of think about it? Is it just it's time?
There's a multiple things. I think one, I don't feel like there's anything left for me to achieve, and I don't feel like I'm going to be getting any better. I'm 40. I'm going to be 46 on my birthday. I feel like, my best curling is probably behind me at this point, and I've been very growth oriented and just trying to get better each and every time I go on the ice, and I don't necessarily feel like I'm going to get better. And then you layer that onto the fact that my kids are 14 and 18 years old. They're getting heavily involved in curling and have other activities and other interests, and I want to be around them more now. And then finally, I guess the travel part. I don't love the travel and all the hassles that kind of come with playing on tour. I still love to play the game. I still love being around my teammates. I still love throwing rocks, but all the other stuff is it's just a little bit more of a hassle now than it used to be.
I remember an old journalist who retired said, "I love when I'm there. It's the toing and the froing that really."
Yeah.
And
And you know what? I live in one of the best places in the world, but it's also one of the toughest ones to get in and out of, especially in the winter. And over the course of the last number of years, there's been so many days where we've been stuck somewhere because of winds or storms, and that just makes it hard thinking about even traveling. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with my family and following them around and doing what they love to do because they've been following me and making my career or my curling career a priority. And I want to flip the script on that a little bit.
Well, 2017 Brier in St. John's was one of the most memorable for you for a lot of reasons. Obviously, you won, but what? How do you think they're going to outdo that atmosphere? Just the presentation they brought from that Brier in 2017 this time around. What have you heard?
To be honest, I don't know if they need to outdo it. I think if they come anywhere close to it, it's still going to be pretty spectacular. I think the interest around the community and around the province is even more intense than what it was 9 years ago. And I think that's exciting. Ticket sales, there was one wave that went on and in 3 minutes it was gone. Like it's like a Taylor Swift concert down here. So there's a lot of excitement for the Brier coming. Yeah, I think the only way we could really add or get it to the level of 2017 is maybe if our team goes on a run. But I think even if we don't, I think people are excited to come watch the curlers play. I think they're kind of excited to come and cheer our team on. I think it's going to be a great event no matter what happens. And I'm just hopeful that we're there at the end of the week and we give ourselves a chance to win. But even if we don't, I'm going to try and enjoy it as much as possible. Certainly feeling the pressure and the stress. So hopefully I can enjoy the good moments throughout the week.
What, looking at the field that you see there, it's pretty deep, but there's some newcomers as well. What do you make of it? How do you size it up?
to be honest, is one of the more interesting fields that I've seen in a long time. I remember doing these interviews after the field was set, and you'd say it's one of the strongest we've ever seen. And you look at the names and the recognition of those names was pretty incredible. I think this time around we've got some new names, which I think is really exciting. We got some good young teams. This is a lot of the next generation coming up through, which is good. But the quality of teams is still really good. There's some incredibly good teams from across the country, and some casual curling fans that are probably not going to recognize some names, but there's some good teams, and you're going to see some good curling all week. And we're not going to take anybody lightly. I can guarantee you that.
So what happens if you win? You're still not playing. You're not going to come back as Team Canada, but you will play in the World Championships.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm certainly hopeful this is my last event because I want to play in the World Championships. But if we are fortunate enough to win, the World Championships would be my last event. If we won, the other guys would have to figure out what they're going to do, but I won't be coming back. So, the luxury that I've had is I've played for a long time. I've achieved a lot, and I'm at a position now where I know that it's my last year, and I had the opportunity over the course of the summer to actually sit down with Russell Martin, the baseball player, he used to play with the Toronto Blue Jays,
Sure.
and I kind of asked the question to him, how did you know when it was time? And he said, Brad, he said, when you know, and that really hit me actually a little bit after where I knew, and I feel even more comfortable in that decision playing the season. And I just want to finish out on a high note.
What will be your lasting memory of playing in the Brier over these many, many years that you've been at it?
It's going to be hard to top 2017. That just the feeling in my body when we made that shot. It wasn't even the excitement of winning. It was the roar. Like you could feel your insides rumbling. It was so loud. That's something that's going to stick with me. And no matter what happens at the Brier this time around or what's happened over the last 20 years, that one moment is just going to be so hard to beat. And, I'm hopeful that we can get something that's close to that this time around. But that's the one lasting memory to me that I think in my Brier career, it's going to stick with me. And yeah, I'm not sure we could top that one.
Well, I think it's going to be, as you said, it's going to be tough to top 2017, but I don't know. You just might be able to do it. I think you got the hearts and the minds of everyone in Newfoundland and Labrador, right across Canada, and I'm sure they'll be watching and cheering for you, as will all the people tuned in to watch on TSN. Thank you for spending some time with us, and thank you for spending some time over all these years. You've really been a person who's never turned down an interview, at least not with me. So I
No,
personally thank you as well.
thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. And I can tell you there's going to be 4 players and 6,000 people that are going to try and make that moment even better. And hopefully we can. But I appreciate everything you do. And thanks for having me so often.